Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. So I recently filmed a 3-part tutorial on this really cute beaded snowman. This one here I made into a pendant. These two are earrings, and I also showed how to make the snowman into a Christmas tree ornament, or you can put them on a wreath, a table. I showed how to use all different sized beads, the different kinds of beads. It was really cool, and it's something that you could pass down through the family for years. So it's a really great project. So I've been wanting to make a matching bracelet to wear with my set here, and I had this idea last year and I didn't have time to work on it. So I remember I told you guys before that my aunt gave me some jewelry making stuff that she no longer needed, and two of the things that she gave me was satin cord, also called rat tail, and bells. And so I had this idea to make a jingle bell bracelet. So this is what I made, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It is so darn cute. Listen to the sound. It's really cute. So I took the Shambhala style and I used bells and I made this bracelet. Now here are some things I discovered. Not all rat tail cord is the same. So she gave me this spool here, and she gave me 3 different colors of rat tail cord in 3 different colors, but different shades. So she gave me red, green, and blue, and I have different shades of red, green, and blue. Anyways, I noticed that this one here was a little different looking. It's really smooth, and the other rat tail cords, this one here, look at this. Do you see the side here? It's just a little bit fuzzy. I noticed that it was different looking. So I thought, well, it's probably a different material. So I took a lighter to it because I wanted to see if it was man-made, and I melted this one. See how hard that is? That's because it's melted. So this one is a man-made material. It's probably a nylon, a polyester, I don't know, something that is able to melt. It's like a paracord, but paracord has an inside and an outside. It's kind of strange, but this is not like that. This is all one. Now the satin cord, this one has a core like paracord, but this one has like a cotton cord and then the satin on the outside. Now I tried to melt this and it would not melt. So it burns, but it won't melt. So if you're going to use a real satin cord, you'll probably have to use glue, or you can do what I did because I didn't want to glue. So I didn't want to do glue on my bracelet. This one here I melted with the lighter, of course. That's my start. Here's where I melted. You can see that there. I melted it here for the closure, and I just figured out how to put bells on the ends of my cord all by myself. I figured out how to do that. I'm so happy with how that looks, and I want to try to remember to do this in the future when I make other bracelets, to put little bells at the end. It's just so adorable. So I'll show you how to do that. So this one I made with the rat tail that melts. So I wanted to use some of the other cords she gave me because I only have one that melts, and she gave me, you know, several other colors. So I took this cord here, which is real satin cord, and I made this bracelet, and I did not want to glue it. I don't know why I was so against it, but I went through my bead stash of my findings, and I found that I have some fold over cord findings, and I use these, and I have no idea where I got them from. I want to say I got them in a kit, like I bought something and it came with the findings or something. I want to say that's how I got them. But anyways, I used these. Okay, I put one on the end, I added bells, and I used 2 different size bells in this one. This one here are all the same. So this one I used 2 different sizes. And I got over here, you know, and I finished my end off. And then I put my clasp on, and I'm telling you guys this because you might have the same problem. This is how you fix it. I put my clasp on, and I looked, and one of my ends was like this. One was upside down. I can't believe that I put it on upside down. And I thought, it's going to be too much of a pain. I'll waste the end to fix it. I'll just overlook it. But I couldn't overlook it. It was driving me crazy. So I took a knife, and I lifted up one side very carefully, not to stab myself, and I lifted up the other side, and it came right off because I took the pressure off. And I took these pliers here. These are Wuber's flat nose pliers, and these are the biggest ones. I think this comes in 2 or 3 different sizes of the flat nose, and this is the biggest one. I love these. They're awesome pliers. And I flattened it back so it looked brand new again. And this is what it looks like. It has this big piece right here, okay, that you flip down, you fold down, you hold that with one plier, and then you take another plier and you come in and you bend the sides over. And it's a really secure closure. I loved this. And I have like 6 of these ones here. This is the other style I have. And this just has where the sides fold over. Now with this one, the cord will stick out here at the top. You'll just see a little bit of it, which isn't too bad. But I didn't think I would be able to fit all 3 of my cords in here, so I went with this one. And I measured this, and it's about 1/4 of an inch wide. Okay? So in case you want to go get the same ones, that's about what it is, 1/4 of an inch. So I did these 2 bracelets. I really love how they turned out. They're so darn cute, and I love the sound that they make. And if you're not crazy about this size bell, there's all different size bells that you can use. I went through my findings and I found that I have these really tiny bells. Look how little this bell is. It's like 5 or 6 millimeters. It's so tiny. Now if you're going to use smaller bells, keep in mind that the hole will be smaller. So if I were to make a bracelet with these, I would probably have to do S-Lon cord to get it to fit through that hole. An S-Lon cord is a man-made material. It melts, so you could make it like this, but it would be so dainty and tiny. It would be so cute. So these bells here she gave me, I have an original packaging for some of them, and I know that the packaging is very old, several years old. I don't know how old, but it looks very old. And anyways, it said in the packaging 75 bells for $2.99, and they were the Doris name brand. And I went to the craft store and I saw that you can get the same bells at the craft store. So these are very cheap and affordable to make. They make great gifts and they're so cute. So for this video, let's make these cute little Jingle Bell bracelets. Here's the list of materials you will need to make a Jingle Bell bracelet. So this one here, I only really use 3 materials. I use the rat tail cord, that's the man-made kind that I can melt, and I use 3/8 inch bells and a lighter. That was it. Very little materials. This one here called for more things, so I used the 3/8 inch bells, and then I used, I think it's 1 size bigger than that in the bells. I don't know what size it was, but it's about 1 size bigger. And I used the rat tail that is satin rat tail. I used the fold over cord ends, which are 1/4 of an inch, and I think in millimeters it's 6 millimeters in that size. And I used 2 jump rings and a lobster claw clasp. Now, I can't really tell you what size cord I used because it's not on the thing here. So this is red number 5. I guess that's the color. That's 1 rat tail. Is that what that is? That's the yards. And then made in the USA. But I'm thinking from my other cords I use, I think this is a 2 millimeter cord. Comparing it to my leather, I would say it's probably 2 millimeters. And this one, I want to say it's smaller, so it's probably like 1.5 millimeter. See, I don't really know what size it is. It says something green, number 16. So is that like the shade of green it is? I don't know. Number 1 rat tail. Maybe it's in, I don't know if it comes in different sizes. I don't know. I haven't really used rat tail. It's kind of new to me. So I would say that this is probably 2 millimeters and this one is 1.5. And if you have to go buy it, I would do the 1.5 if you can, because this one here, I kind of had some friction sliding my bells onto my cord. And what I did is I took a bead-awl. This old one here. I put the bells on and I made the holes bigger because I pushed it down and it kind of bent the metal and it made the holes bigger, so the bells slid on a little bit easier. But it kind of roughed up my cord a little bit, made it fray a little bit. So this is the materials. And remember, I always put the materials down there in the description bar. Oh, one more thing. If you can't find the fold over cord ends, you can do wire wrap. You can wire wrap the end. I have a tutorial on it. I did boho feather earrings, and I put the feathers together by wire wrapping the end. I made a loop, and then I put the wire loop onto the feathers, and I wrapped it, and it'll work just fine. And just in case you guys don't have these little fold over things, you could do wire. So that's something else you could check out. Okay, so really you don't need a lot of stuff to make this. And remember, I just put the materials down there, and also sometimes have notes and tips and stuff down there that I want to make sure you guys know. Let's do this. I am first going to show you how to make the Shambhala style jingle bell bracelet, and this one here has 3 different lengths of cord that you have to cut. So the first one I cut is this cord right here, okay? This is our center cord that goes through all of these knots, and our bells are on that cord. That cord is 18 inches long. So I already went ahead and put my bells onto my 18-inch length of cord, okay? So now I have it sitting here to the side. Now I have to cut another piece of cord that is 4.5 feet long. 4.5 feet long. This cord is going to be my knotting cord that I knot around the bells right here, okay? So then, after I knot around the bells, I have to cut my third length of cord, which is 16 inches long, and this one is my sliding clasp cord right here, okay? This piece is 16 inches long. So again, one more time, this one here, the inside cord that I put the bells on, is 18 inches. My knotting cord that goes all the way around is 4.5, and my clasp cord is 16 inches. So I'm going to show you guys how I measure my cord. You know, one thing about a lot of beaders, when I watch other beaders' videos or reading magazines, books, they'll say they'll have 2 arms lengths. Well, that sounds crazy to me. I like to have an exact amount, and I don't like to waste, you know, materials because it's expensive. It's expensive to buy this stuff. So this is how I measure my cord. I take a ruler, I put it on the end. I need 4.5 feet, so I go just like this, and I wrap it around the ruler. So there's 2 feet, 3, 4 feet. I need 4.5. So right here's my 6-inch mark. So I'm gonna hold it here and cut it. And I use wire cutters to cut this stuff because it's so thick, and sometimes scissors will fray it really bad. So every time you cut this cord, because it's that man-made material, you want to go ahead and burn it because it will fray with the lighter. And I go like this with my fingers to bond it together, because if you don't, it'll just be a really big end. You need this to be pointed and thin to pass through your bells. So when I put my bells on, I actually burnt about 1/2 inch because I wanted it to be needle-like. But I'm not putting bells on this end. Okay, so this is good. So let's see, I burnt this one, and I burnt this end. Okay, so this is our tying cord, and it's ready to go. This is the one for our bells, and I think I'll cut the one for the clasp later. So I'm going to put this up real quick. So I have this thing here. It is called, I lost my box. It is called a Beadalon tying station, and I bought this last year because I've been going crazy when I make bracelets like this, keeping them down. Now I do have a wooden loom. I've made a video on how to make a wooden loom, and you can use this for this. You just have to tie one end onto the nail and the other end onto the other nail, and this is silky cord, so it does kind of slip off. So you have to tie like 2 knots on each end. But this thing here is really cool. I like it because if I have to take it off and take a bead off or whatever, it's really easy to do because there's these wing nuts. And I think I bought this on Amazon. It wasn't very expensive. It was really worth it. It doesn't come with any instructions though. That's the complaint I have about it. So I'm going to put this under here. And by the way, if you don't have one of these, you can, and if you don't have my homemade bead loom, my wooden bead loom, you could use a clipboard. And on the other end of the clipboard, use these clips. These giant bulldog paper clip things to keep your cord. So you want to, I'm going to try to get close to an even amount, guesstimate, on the ends. I'm going to go ahead, tighten this down. So you kind of want your bells centered in this bracelet. I'm going to pull this taut, tighten that down there, tighten it here. Okay, now we are ready. So here is my knotting cord. This is so easy. I love it. I'm going to take my cord, pass under this one, and I'm already getting caught on my desk. And I already got a knot, which is easy to come out, but okay, I have to put my ends together and I want to find the center. Okay. So that'll probably be best after I tie. So I'm going to go over. I'm right-handed, so I always go right, left, right, left. So I'm going to go over. Look at that. I should have turned that. What was I thinking? Okay. So I'm right-handed, I'm going to go over. If you're left-handed, you can go over and under. Because I'm right, I'm going to go over the top and take my left one and go underneath. I'm going to grab this end and I'm going to grab this end and pull them through the loops like this. Okay? And I'm going to put these two ends together, put my fingers here, and try to find about the center of this cord. Okay, I'm just putting my arm up. This cord is so silky, it just slides and slips right out of my fingers. Okay, I think I have center. Okay, so there's my center. Now I'm going to tie another knot. So I just went over with my right. I'm going to go over with the left and under with the right and through this loop, just like that. Pull this up. Okay, so now I have two knots. Now I'm going to slide my bell up and I'm going to do 4 knots. I first start with 2 and then I end the very end with 2. And I was doing 2 knots in between each bell, but it was making the bracelet stay really curled up when it was open. It was like really wound up like a spring. It was too tight, so I found that 4 is best, but if you're using larger bells, then you would have to adjust your knots. You might have to do like 6 or 8 knots in between if you're doing much bigger bells. Maybe you're making a dog collar. Wouldn't it be cool to make a Jingle Bell dog collar with paracord? Get some really big bells. That would be cool. Or a cat collar. It's another idea. Okay, so I'm going to tie more knots. I'm going to tie 4. So I'm going to go over with my right, take my left one, go under my right cord, take my fingers, go through this hole, and pull that through. And pull that up. And now I have to do left. And you constantly have to pull this tight because it is so silky. So this is left, my right's going under the left, and then under the center cord, and I grab it like this with my fingers, pull it through. Before I tighten it, I'm going to tighten it again and then pull this down. Okay, now I have to do right over the center again. So right, and then take my left, go under the right cord, under my center cord, and pull this out. Okay, I'll pull this tight again and then pull that up. Now I have to do another one. So left over the center, right over left, and under the center, just like that. Pull this up. And you can go to the back to see how many knots you have. So let me find my awl. So if you're like doing this and the phone rings and you get up, you have to come back, forgot where you were at. I could tell that I have 1 here, 2, 3, 4. That's how I count my knots. I have 4 knots. So now I can slide a bell up and start over again. So I'm going to go right over the center, left cord over the right, under the center. Pull through, And this is just a basic macrame square knot. It's not very hard to tie it all. Okay, now I have to do left. So left over the center, right over the left, under the center. Pull it up. Now I have to do right. Right over the center, left over right, under the center. Okay, and then left over the center, right over left, under the center. Okay, and again, I'm going to look and make sure I got my 4 knots. 1, 2, 3, 4. One time I did 3, wasn't paying attention, and I went about 2 more inches, and I flipped my bracelet over, and I noticed it didn't look right, and I had to redo it. I always make mistakes. Okay, now I'm going to slide up another bell because I have my 4 knots, so I have to go right over the center, left over my right cord, and under the center. Pull that through. So the other bracelet is made just like this with the knots. The only thing that's different is how I finished it. Now left over the center, right over left, under the center. It's a tongue twister. Okay. And by the way, you can always tell, too, which knot you left off with. So if you left off with the left or right, this is how you tell. Looking at this here, see this cord? It's going over the center, okay? This one's just on the side. So this means I left off with the left cord. That's the last knot I tied, was the left knot. Now I'm going to tie the right one and show you. So right over the center, left over right, and under the center. Okay, pull that up, pull it tight. Now look at it. I just tied the right one, so you can see this cord here is going over the center, and then the left one's going under, so that's my right knot. That's how you can tell. Okay, and now I have to do another left. So left over the center, right over left, and then right under the center, and pull it through the loop. Very simple, just like that, okay? Again, I will check. I got 4 knots, so that means I have to slide up my bell. And then again, right over the center, left over right, under the center, and pull that through. Very easy. And for those of you that don't know, if you were to keep tying 1 knot, so if I tied 2 right knots, it would twist. If I tied 2 knots, on the left side going over the center, it would twist. And you would see that your bracelet is not flat after you made it. It would be like this. Okay, it would be twisted. So if you kept going tying one, like the right, tying right over left constantly, the whole bracelet would twist. And it looks really cool, but it will not work for these bells. Okay, so I'm going to tie a few more knots, and I'll let you guys do this by yourself. So I just did the right. I could tell because the right is on the top of my center cord. And now I'm going to do left over the center, right over left, and through the hole. Make sure you pull it tight, because when you pull it tight it will get loose again. Okay, then right over the center, left under the right, and through this hole here. Okay, one more time, left over the center, right under, left, and through the hole. Pull that tight, and there we go. So keep going doing this. I have, I think, 11 bells in mine on the top and 2 in the cord ends. You can do whatever you want to fit whoever you want, a little kid even, okay? So keep going doing this, and I'll show you how to do the end. So I kept on going, and I have 1 bell left to put on. So I just tied my 4 knots. I'm sliding up, and for some reason, I don't know why, but I make sure that it's even every time I start, my knotting cord. And look at how much longer my 1 cord is. I don't know why it's so much longer. It's weird. Okay, so putting that bead or that bell up, I'm going to make right over left knot, pull that up, and then left over the center. So right, left. I'm just doing 2 knots. My right knot and then my left knot. Okay, pull that tight. Now I have to take it off my board, which is so easy to do. Look how easy. See? It's off that fast. Okay, so now I have to cut these off and melt them. And if you're doing another cord that you can't melt, then you would glue them. Glue here and right there. And you would leave this to dry. I leave things to dry overnight, so I know it's, you know, good. And then I cut it off the next day. And then if you want, you could go back and just put a teeny little bit of glue on the ends to make sure that, you know, it's all good. Okay, so pulling this tight, I'm going to cut my cord, and I leave a little over 1/4 of an inch, about this much. Okay, and start melting this. Hope I don't burn a hole in my mat. And I get a really good ball, plastic ball they're going, and it actually burns by itself. Okay, then blow it out, and then take the lighter right here where the sticker's at and go like this and push it onto. Okay, and just sit there for a little bit. You might want to blow on it too. It takes like 30 seconds for it to cool. Okay, and then take it off. And now we have this. So see, it looks kind of rough, but we could fix that. Now, the important thing is you do not want to burn this cord at all, the center cord, because this is where, you know, we'll be sliding this onto. We need this to be intact. So now what I'm going to do, I have this rough edge here. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to take my lighter, hold those cords out of the way, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to burn this and then press it with my finger, and I'm just kind of smoothing the cord out, you know, making it flat because it's kind of sharp when you first do it. And the fan is making it blow around, so I'll turn the fan off and come back and do that side again. Make sure it's good. Okay, now I have to cut this one. So again, just a little over 1/4 of an inch. Cut it off. Okay. Oh, I just stopped burning. Try to get it burned by itself. Okay. Put it out. Go like this with the sticker part, and then press it into your bracelet. If you do the plastic part of your lighter, it'll melt your lighter. So I always do it on that sticker, and it doesn't melt it. It's fine. Okay, now it's cool. So this one here, I could trim that off, or I could burn it on. I think I might trim some off. Okay. Then I just come back in like I did earlier. See how flat it is? It's really flat. I just come back in and melt it a little bit and press it with my finger so it's not sharp. And you'd think it'd be like really hot. It's actually not that bad. I haven't been burned yet, and I've done this several times. Okay, there we are. We are now ready to do the knotting cord thing down here. Oh, but before we do, I want to point something out to you guys. You may notice that some of the bells aren't centered. They're like, let me see, this one here. See how this one's like way over into the knot? What I do to fix that is I take and I pull the bracelet like this, okay? And then I just wiggle these here down the cord and try to center them in the center of the cord. Alright. So now it's more relaxed. The bracelet's more relaxed. It's not so stiff because we stretched it out and then we did that. So now I'm ready to do the clasp closure thingy. So now to do this sliding part right here, I went ahead and I cut my 16 inches of cord that's going to make up this part. And I like to use these little clips here to keep this together, because when you first start to tie the knot, it's kind of a pain to keep these together. So I just use that there. And then I'm going to take my cord, pass under these two, okay, and I'm going to go over these two cords, the center cords with my right cord, take my left cord, go over the right, and then take the left cord and go through this loop. Okay? And then pull these two cords. And I have to find the center, so I'll put those two together. Okay. Right here is the center. Now I'm going to ditch this clip. Okay, and now I have my first knot. Now I have to do left. So left over, left over these two, and then right over the left, and then under the two center. Pull that tight. Now I have two knots. So then I just keep going, doing the knots, the same exact knot I showed you, over and over until you're happy with how long it is. Okay, you can make it any length you want. I got 4. If you wanted, you could stop right there, but I kind of like it longer. So now I have to do right. So I'm just going to do this real quick, and then show you how to finish this. Just left, so I have to do right. And you want to keep these together. You don't want them to twist underneath like that or something. You want them to be parallel, side by side. Okay, left over right. And let me see. Getting close. I think one more square knot. Which one square knot is two wraps. Okay, and you want to test and make sure that this slides. Okay, and let me see. It's the same length as my first one, so I'll stop here. You have to make sure that your last knot is very tight, because if you cut it and it loosens up, you'll have to use pliers to tighten it back up again. Okay, so now I have to cut and burn. Sounds scary. Okay, so again, I'll do what I did earlier, cut it like that. Boy, that was bad. That was a bad cut. Okay, and then I'm gonna burn it. Let it get that little ball of fire going by itself. Oop, went out. Okay, blow it out, put it on the sticker, press it into the knot. Okay, there it goes. It's cold. Oh, that one was perfect. That one was really perfect. And I'm just going to smooth it out now. Take the lighter, smooth it out. Okay. The fan's on in here, so it's kind of blowing my flame all around. And now for the other side. Make sure you're trimming the right one, by the way. This one here is my adjusting cord. Okay, so I know I have to trim this one off. Darn it, it won't keep the flame. Okay, now I'm going to press it into the bracelet. Okay, and you guys got it. That's pretty much it. I'm going to let this cool, pull off, and then I'll show you how to do the bells on the end. So now for the little bells at the end. It's surprisingly easy. Okay, so you want to pull these tight. You don't want to see the bracelet open. You want it tightened, okay, like that. And then you want to put these two ends together, and we need to get these even. And you just want to cut the long one off and make it even with the shorter one. Okay, did that. Don't have to burn that end. Now you want to put a bell on, okay, and you want to slide this bell down to where it is about center in this little tail here. And then you want to take this cord and make a loop like this. Okay, so do you see how this little cord here is on the front side where the bell is pointing down? It's on the front side like that, okay? So now I'm just going to hold this, and the bell's going to pop right through that loop. Just like that. So this is basically a slip knot, but I tied it in the way that this part isn't the slippy side. This is the slippy side, but this bell can only go down, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so now you want to, I'll zoom in some. Now you just want to leave it right here for now. Okay, don't pull it real tight because we have to go to this side and we have to get them about even, which is the tricky part. Now I forgot I do actually have to burn this end because I have to put my bell on. So I have to make it pointed. And you know what I did to put these bells on? I forgot to mention. I burned it. I got my chain rose pliers. I flattened it. And then it was really flat. And then I took my cutters and I cut the sides, the corners off like that because it was like square at the end. And made it really pointed. And it was so easy to put the bells on. Forgot to tell you guys that. Okay. Okay, got this bell on. I'm going to do it again. So again, you want the bell to be about in the center here of your tail. You want to make a loop like this. Okay, so the cord is on this side. You don't want it on this side. You want it on this side, like this. Okay, hold it here and pop the bell through the hole. Okay, and now we have that there. So now the goal is to get them even. So you'll have to gently pull the cord, adjusting. This one here is a little bit longer. I do want the longer one. So I'm going to pull this one down. I like the length on this one, so I'm going to match that one. Okay. They're really darn close. Now you want to pull them really tight. Pull this one tight, pull a short one tight. Pull both. Actually, this one's going in this direction, so pull that in that direction. Pull the bell. You just need them to be extremely tight. Okay, it turned out perfect. And then you have to cut and burn. So hold it like this. Cut it there. Then you have to burn this little piece. Remember, you want to get that flame going by itself. Blow it out, push it into the knot. Just like that. Okay. So now I just have to come in. If you want, you can trim this off. But I always like to come back and smooth it out with the flame. Okay. Looks good. Now I have to do the other side, and you'll be all done. It's so easy to make. It's actually really quick, fast to make. You can make several of these if you get to do several of them. You'll be faster at making them. So now I have to do this side, and it'll be all done, and then I'll show you how to do this one. And I'm just going to show you how to do the ends here, because the knotting is the same on this. And if you want, you can do different size bells like I did in this one, okay? So for this bracelet, you're going to cut 2 pieces of cord, and it's going to be the same length as this one. You're just not cutting the cord to do this part here. So the center cord that we put the bells on will be 18 inches, just like the red one. And the knotting cord will be 4.5 feet, okay? So I already did that. I already cut a 4.5 foot and my 18-inch cord. I put my bells onto my cord, and they slid down to the center, and I was thinking that would be cute as a necklace. Just like that with the bells in the center. Okay, so I got my bells in the center. Now what I have to do, here's my fold-over cord end, and I have to put my ends together. I can't burn this, remember? This has a cotton core and the satin on the outside. So I'm just putting my ends together, making sure they're even, sliding my fingers down, finding the very center of my cord, which is right here, okay? So hold the center. And then you want to take this cord here with the bells on it, and you want to put this in between these two. Okay, it has to be in the middle, just like that. And then you want to put this in here. Okay, there's 2 little teeth right there that grab onto it. Okay, put that inside, and see the hole right there on the left? That's where you put your jump ring through. You want to make sure you don't cover that. If you do cover it, you can take a bead awl and fix that. Okay, so I just want to go right there up to that hole. Fold this piece over. I'm going to hold this with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to come in here with my other pliers and fold the sides over. There's one side. Okay. And here is the other side. And smash it hard. Okay. I come to this side too, see how it's open, and I smash that shut. Okay, now we are ready to tie the knots, and the knots are the same as this one here. And I really love this time station thing because this here is flat. I just put it right underneath like that and lock the wing nut down, see? And then I just tie my knots. I have to, of course, put this one down here, you know, in the bottom wing nut. Slide my first one up, and I just go on tying my square knots like I did in the red one. And just like I did in the red one, I tied 2 at the beginning, okay, and then 4 in between each bell, and at the very end I tied 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie the knots just like I did in the red one. I'll come back and I'll show you how to finish the end. It's pretty easy. Okay, so now we have to finish this one off, put the cord end thing on, and before we do, we have to make sure that these 2 cords on the sides are extremely tight, extremely, because if they loosen up, it's going to be hard to get them tight again, because we're going to have to trim like right here. So I'm going to hold this and trim, let me see, what is it? It's like a 1/4 of an inch, I want to say. So maybe right there. So after you cut the cords off, take some clear nail polish and put it on the ends of the cords. This keeps them from fraying so they stick together, and then press them together like that. Okay, mine are almost dry. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. Now when you put this on, you want to make sure that it's facing up, not upside down like I do. Okay, so I will hold it upside down. This is the top, so that has to be on the side with the bells. I'm putting this in here. Okay, the clear nail polish really helps with this. Now I have to press that thingy down, that big silver part. Hold this here. I need that part there to go down more. It's sticking up funny, but doesn't make my sides look weird to me. I'll go like this. Okay, I'm gonna try bending it with my fingers first. Okay, there we go. I gotta start. Okay, now I'm gonna fold one side over, then fold the other side over. I like to go like this and smash it. Okay. Looks good, and it's on the top. It's right side up. So I just have to put my jump ring on. I put this one on. I had some difficulty filming, so I did that one when I did the clear nail polish. Okay, so I have to just put this onto this hole. You want to bend the jump ring open by twisting it, closing it shut. Okay, and there we go. We have a really cute Jingle Bell bracelet. I really like the blue one. I thought the red one was my favorite, but the blue one is really cool. I wear a lot of silver jewelry, so they're so cute. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.